Kyrie, first game without Kevin, it's going to be this way for a while. What is the challenge for this team going forward? Do you think it's just you and James as the main go-to guys?
Well, I think we just have to just be ready to make adjustments on the fly and do whatever's needed for guys to fill in that role. I mean, you can't replace Kevin. It's impossible. I mean, so I think we just face that reality right now, this second, and moving forward on this road trip. I know that we'll probably face some more questions, just the ups and downs of this, but, just be very mature about it as a basketball club and just be ready to be flexible game to game. Guys are going to see some spotty minutes here and there. We know that on a given night, me and James can go for 30 apiece, but we're really looking forward to seeing a lot of the guys collectively chip in on the offensive end. And then defensively, just our communication has to be that much more crisp. We don't have somebody that could really clean up some of the mistakes on the backside like Kevin or guys that are going to just fill in the paint and just do the right thing, just at thinking at that level, So now we just have to collectively teach one another and just, I'm still finding my bearings with the team. So we just take it one game at a time.
Kyrie, have you spoken to Kevin since you got hurt?
Of course.
How do you think he's handling it?
I mean, I don't want to speak for Kev, but I'll definitely speak, for me personally, it's a big hit. You feel it energetically. It's just the presence in the locker room. Everyone's going to feel it. But for me personally, I just man, we just got back into the swing of things, and here we are. Again, one of our guys is out and for a long period of time. So we just got to face the reality, man, just move forward.
And kind of going off that, yesterday marked the year since James' Nets debut. It feels longer, but obviously the idea was hopefully having you three play consistently and everything else. Some things so I think focus hasn't gone as expected. You just kind of reflect on last year and how it was supposed to look and how it's looked and all that.
Yeah, right. A loaded question, man. Yeah, it's a lot to process. Just what we intended to be and what we still intend to be, but all these hiccups and uncontrollable things. In the playoffs last year, James goes out, and then I'm going up for a shot, and Giannis comes over, and his foot just happens to be in the way. And then this year coming into the season, this situation that I'm in, and then now we're dealing with Kev being out. And I just think it's one of those things that, real life takes precedent over this game so much. And when you're out there, anything can happen. And part of being part of a team is just taking that collective responsibility once it hits and just dealing with it. So it's inevitable that we're going to have to move to another day, but we just move forward, man. It's tough, though, when you think about just how all this is still coming together, and we have yet to play consistent amount. I don't know if we played 20 games together yet or even 15. You guys would. You keep it track. So I'm like, man, I'm with you. And I'm with the fans at home. And they're like, oh, what's going on with the Nets big three? And it can't stay healthy. And I'm like, you hear it all the time. You read it all the time. And I say to that, it's just, our time's coming. It's coming. It may not be now, but I definitely feel like some of these things that happen are for a reason, and it's for a bigger purpose, and we'll see what happens.
I'm curious if you may not even be thinking this way, but if either of these events, either Kevin's injury or the whatever, however many months it was, where you were away, either of these things combined to impact your thinking at all on whether you're getting vaccinated, or is that a whole separate issue? Like that's an issue over there, and these things have nothing to do with it.
Well, I think what I'm trying to better articulate is that I'm not bringing science into the basketball game. You know what I mean? I'm not bringing everyone's feeling what's going on in the real world. I'm walking around as an unvaccinated person, sort of say, and I've already been separated into another group of a community. And I'm just saying to everybody, I'm human. I have decisions to make. I have a family to take care of. There are things that are just as important to me as being great at a game of basketball or, leaving a legacy. So I think to answer your question it's just the reality of where the world is in the present state. You see that there are more boosters and there are people getting fired for being unvaccinated. We're all dealing with it. We're all feeling it. My message has always been, I respect what everyone else is doing with their bodies. I respect what everyone else is doing in terms of their livelihoods, and I'm here to support. But what's going on with me is I'm taking it one day at a time. That's it. Nothing's guaranteed in this world right now. So people are getting sick left and right. And for me, I'm just trying to be just a person that's just being a beacon of hope and light and just trying to shed as much as I can on the situation without talking myself into more BS and what's going on in this political world that we're in right now. And I just don't want to bring science into this. And it always gets wrapped up. And I'm asked questions all the time about what's my status. And I'm like, man, if you were in my position, it would be easy for someone to say, well, why don't you just get vaccinated? But you're not. And that's just the reality of it. And I've made my decision already and I'm standing on it.
To read a follow-up on that, do you feel any more pressure to change your stance because Kevin's going to be out potentially for a couple months and the team needs you?
See, that's what I feel like ends up coming into a lot of this culture of basketball and sports and entertainment is you bring in the team and you bring in situations that we're in, and Kev's going to heal. Kev's going to be okay, and we're going to have to deal with that as his teammates. But in terms of where I am with my life outside of this, I stay rooted in my decision, and that's just what it is. It's not going to be swayed just because of one thing in this NBA life that somehow is, somehow it's brought to my attention as being more important than what's going on in the real world. It's just not happening for me, and I respect everyone else's decision. I'm not going to ever try to convince anyone of anything or any of that. I just am standing rooted in what I believe in. And though we're dealing with this right now with Kev, I just know that I'm protected by the organization. I'm protected by my teammates. I'm protected by all the doctors I've talked to. And, I just stand rooted.
Just to be clear, do you think there's...
Nick, we got to get one last one. We got Michael Grady.
Do you think there's anything that would sway your decision?
What do you mean?
To get this shot?
Why you keep asking me that?
Because that's what everybody wants to know.
Who's everybody?
There are millions of basketball fans out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
people who want to know if you're going to take the
I'll
shot
ask
and be
you.
able to play at home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basketball fans.
But there are
Like,
millions
they're-
of people, forget basketball fans. There are millions
Yeah,
of people.
but this is like, that's what I'm saying. You're bringing like my vaccination status into a basketball game. And it's like, I live my life majority of the time when I'm away from this. So when I say I'm not getting vaccinated and I'm making a choice with my life, somehow it gets mixed into, well, what about the basketball stuff? It's like, no, bro, like we live in a real world. This is great to be able to do this. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I love being with my teammates. I love playing on the Nets. But I've already been away enough time to think about this, to process it, to be able to make this decision, stand strong, understand that people are going to agree and some people are going to disagree. The circumstances that are at hand, I'm praying that they get changed and we're able to do things differently. And that's not just for me. That's for all those that are dealing with being unvaccinated and getting fired from work on a day-to-day basis. It's not just about me. That's been my message this whole time. So though I feel your feeling and emotion asking that question, it's just like sometimes it feels a little disrespectful. Like I'm not just a basketball player, bro. I'm not. Millions of fans, I appreciate all of it, but it's not just about the game.
But you're one of the most famous unvaccinated people in the country. I mean,
That sounds
why there's
crazy
so
to
much
me.
But that's the reality, though. You are one of the most famous people in the country.
But I'm not the only one.
No, you're not. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why there's so much
Fame is socially created, bro. I'm not. I hear what you're saying, but I gotta go to Grady's question. Like being the most famous unvaccinated player, what does that even mean?
Well, in the short
I don't even know what that
term,
means in my
you
life.
can't play at home. I think that's why there's so much So that's great.
I respect that, bro. I respect
We're
that.
gonna move on. Thanks.
Yeah.
Grady, go ahead.
Hey, Kyrie, I know you have an important stretch, as a group of road games, and you have a great feel for the game instinctively and with the work that you put in. But you mentioned, you're still finding your bearings out there. Can you, expound on that and what it's been like to find your own personal timing and then also the chemistry to set your teammates up to?
No, it's been a process from the get. Just being reinstated, sort of say, being welcomed back, and then testing positive, and then being in protocol for 10 days. It just took a big hit to the normal schedule that I thought I was going to be on. So, just to have these type of experiences, to be back in Cleveland and play in Indiana, play in Chicago, play on the road, just get my games underneath me. I leave out every game learning something. I didn't get a chance to play in the NBA arena for a while. So Chicago was probably the first game where I had some nerves on me and I had to figure it out. And, guys are looking at me and they're a little surprised because I'm pretty sure they've never seen that from me. And I think it makes it fun too, to be kind of youthful in the mind, just going out there with wide-eyed and just ready for whatever comes my way. But I couldn't do it without any of the support of my teammates and just being there for me.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, of course.